The first thing we need to do after cutting out our shirt pattern is to work on the button plackets and the buttonhole plackets. That you do that by bringing out the front part of the shirt, the two pieces for the front part of the shirt, and laying it on the table. Then you fold the button placket twice into the notch that we made at the two edges, the two end of it. You fold it twice like so and stitch them down on two side. After stitching it down, this is what we have. Make sure you stitch them down onto the right side of the shirt. Stitch it down onto the right side of the shirt, and this is what you will obtain. We are trying. The next thing is to fix the back yoke, and in order to do that, the first thing you need to do is to lay the button placket and the button hole placket on top of each other like so, and begin to pin them together. Begin to pin them down. Since we have not made our button, we need to put them together as if we have already buttoned them up. You use your office pin and pin it down like so, with the right side facing up. Now after pinning them down, the pinning together the button and the buttonhole placket, you will now take the back portion of the shirt, the back part of the shirt, and lay it on top of the table with the wrong side facing up. The wrong side of the back pattern will be facing up on the table. You will now lay the right side you will now lay the front portion of the shirt on it with the wrong side facing the back side, which means the front and the back of the shirt, they are facing each other on the wrong side. And you will now take the back yoke and lay it on top of the front of the shirt with the right side. Make sure the right side of the back yoke is laying on top of the right side of the front of the shirt, which means the yoke will be facing up on the wrong side. After achieving that, you will now match the three shoulders together and begin to pin them down like so. You pin the two shoulders together, match them, make sure they are accurate on the edges, and you pin them together in order for us to stitch them down at that place where we are stitching, where we are pinning together. Note that the wrong side of the back yoke will be facing up, while the right side of the front of the shirt will be facing up. The front of the shirt and the back of the shirt will be facing each other on the wrong side. Now, after stitching the shoulder, this is what we have. After stitching together the three pieces of the, now the next thing is to remove the pin at the front of the shirt. Remove all the pins and open the shirt up in this manner. You will now lay the yoke onto the back. You remove it from the front and lay it on the back of the shirt. You will now discover that the right side of the yoke is now facing up, while the wrong side is laying on top of the right side of the back of the shirt. Now, make sure you arrange and pin and lay the back yoke accurately. Arrange it. You can use your pressing iron to press it down, make it flat on top of the back of the shirt, and then you pin them down. Pin it down onto the back of the shirt. Pin it down, making sure the neck, watch out for the neck pieces of the yoke and the back of the shirt, that they are well aligned. After pinning it down, the next thing is for you to fold in the yoke by 0.5 inches and stitch it down on top of the back of the shirt. You fold it in like this, in this manner. Fold it in and go to your sewing machine and stitch it down. Stitch it down onto the back of the shirt. Now, after stitching it down, this is what we have. This is the back of the yoke at the back of the shirt after stitching down. Now the next thing is to you place your fabric, the front, you lay the front on top of the back and arrange them like so. Arrange it, making sure that the armhole are matching. Make sure you match the armhole together in order to determine the top of the shoulder. Note that the joint part is not the shoulder point, but after you match the armholes together accurately, you discover the top of the shoulder, and this is what we have. You now notch the top of the shoulder on the two sides, and the next thing is to attach our sleeve. And in order to attach our sleeve, the first thing is to hem the bottom of the sleeve by turning in the 2 inches hemming allowance like so, and pinning it down. You pin them down on three sides. Pin the 2 inches allowance down like so, and then you will turn in the 2 inches. You turn it by 0.5 inches and stitch it down. You turn the hem inside by 0.5 inches and stitch them down. Go to your sewing machine and stitch it down. You are turning it in into the wrong side of the sleeve, into the wrong side of the fabric. Now after now you will notch the middle center point of the top of the sleeve and match it to the notch portion of the shoulder of the shirt, and stitch them down at your sewing machine. After we have finished stitching down, this is what we have. After joining the sleeve, this is what we have. Now the next thing is to join the side of the shirt, and you do that by using your measurement. You take your tape measure, and with the measurement of your client you will determine the your sleeve round, your armpit, your armhole, mark them out with your chalk, and stitch them down according to your client's exact measurements, leaving out your sewing allowance. Now after stitching down, this is what we have. This is how far we have gone. After turning it to the right side, this is what we have. Now the next thing is to work on our neck circumference. We are going to make our shirt collar, and the first thing is to measure around the neck circumference to determine the length of the collar we are making. You can see I have my neck circumference to be 13, which it was 12, but because of the button placket and button hole is starting on this measurement. By the time we lay it together and button up the shirt, it will become 12 according to the formula that we use in the cutting of the shirt. Now you are going to take pieces of cardboard, and lay it on the table. Then you draw a starting line like I have done. On that starting line, you are going to mark a beginning, and then mark half of the measurement you obtain from your neck circumference. For me, it was 13. So I mark 6.5. On that 6.5, you are going to go up by 0.5 inches. You go up by 0.5 inches and draw. After that 0.5 inches, you go up again by 1.2. Go up again by 1.2 inches and mark the point. Then go to the base point that we made earlier on, and join the 0.5 inches point to the base point that we marked earlier on, like so. You can see the slant line from the 0.5 inches we made to the base point where we started from, where we started measuring our 6.5 inches. Then at that base point, you go up by 0.5, you go up by 1.2 inches. You go up by 1.2 inches like we did on the other side. And you will now join the 1.2 inches together. 1.2 inches, you will join the, you rule the line to join them together, which gives us a rectangle that is slanting. Now on that place where my hand is, you will go in by 1 inch, and on the other side where I am now, you go in again by 0.5 inches, and then you draw a curve like so. Just follow the video, what I'm doing, just follow it. You draw a curve like so. Then at this place where I am, you will go up by 2 inches and draw your line. And that is at the end of the 6.5 inches, which is half of the length of the collar. Then on this side of the 1 inch mark point, you go up by 2.5 inches. Go up by two. Some people make use of 3 inches. It depends on what you want. But for this is a child, I decided to go up by 2.5 inches, and then I joined the 2.5 inches to the 2 inches. I also come out by 0.5 inches at the 2.5 inches point, and I draw it out and join it to the base of the 2.5 inches like so, in order for the collar to flare out a little. Now all these things that I'm writing, you have to add the 0.5 inches sewing allowance, but on this edge is the folded edge. This other edge is the folded edge. You will see what I'm saying when I'm cutting out the fabric. You have to add 0.5 inches all around the collar, except at the folded side. You will not need to add sewing allowance. I decided to cut out my pattern. You also cut out the collar stand from the collar itself, and this is what we have, the collar and the collar stand separated. Now you will take a piece of fabric and fold it over once and again like so. Because I am cutting, we need two pieces of fabric for the collar stand and also for the collar. We will need two pieces of fabric. That is why I folded my fabric like into four. Now this is how you are going to lay the pattern on the fabric. You can see that on the folded side of the fabric, I did not leave a sewing allowance, but on the other side, there is a sewing, I leave 0.5 inches, I will rule 0.5 inches sewing allowance. Then I decided to pin the pattern onto the fabric. You pin the pattern onto the fabric, and with my ruler, I added 0.5 inches sewing allowance to all the required side of the collar, except at the folded side. As you can see, you will not add sewing allowance, and this is what we have. Now after that, I decided to cut it out. You will cut out your collar like so. Cut it out after ruling the after putting the sewing allowance, and this is what we have after cutting it out. After opening it up, this is the collar that we have. Then you decide to, now we are going to work on the collar stand. Fold your fabric again and place the collar stand pattern on it. The curved area will be in front, while the other side is the folded side. You pin it onto the fabric pin it onto the fabric, making sure the folded side is at the edge of the folded side of the fabric. Then add your 0.5 inches sewing allowance by ruling them out like so. Also draw your line in this manner and draw the curve at that place, allowing for 0.5 inches joining sewing allowance. Now you cut out your collar stand. In this video, just follow exactly what you are seeing. Now you remove your office pin and open it up, and this is the collar stand. This is the collar stand. And when you lay it under the collar, this is what we have. Make sure the curved edge of the collar stand is facing the curved edge of the collar in a way that it's like they are keying into each other. Now we are going to stitch the two collar pieces together, leaving the bottom of it open. But before we do that, I decided to add a interfacing into one of the collar pieces. You had iron interfacing onto the one of the pieces of the collar and then stitch it like so. Go to your sewing machine and stitch the collar in this manner, leaving the downside open. Now, after stitching it, this is what we have. After stitching around the collar, this is what we have. Now, the next thing is to notch it round. Cut out the sharp edge and also put notches on the sewn edges, making sure you do not cut through the fabric. Put notches to make sure that we'll be able to turn it out perfectly. Now the next thing is to turn out our collar. You turn it out, use your something sharp to push out the collar edges and make it sharp. Now this is what we have after turning it out to the right side. Now you will take the collar stand and also place it under the collar like so, making sure the curved edge of the facing the curved edge of the collar, and then you flip one of the collar stand over onto the collar like so. But before we even do that, the first thing you need to do is to put a notch at the two midpoints of the collar, at the upper part and the lower part. Put notches on it like so, and then also for the collar, put a notch at the center of the collar like so, and then lay it on the table and put your collar stand under it like this and open one of it and turn it over like that. Then turn it over and also the second one. Just follow what I'm showing you. Even if I'm not able to express the description, follow the video. Now you use the office pin to pin together the collar and the collar stand. Then you will go to your sewing machine and stitch the collar stand onto the collar. When you come out of the collar, you also stitch the two collar stand together round the edges, just like I'm showing you. You stitch it down and go out and stitch up to that place, and then we will turn it out. Now, after stitching the collar stand onto the collar, this is what we have. Also, put notches on the sewn side of the on the sewing allowance. Put notches And the next thing is to turn it out. Turn out the collar stand like so. Push out the two curved edges. Now, after turning it out, the next thing is to determine the center of our neck circumference by putting it together like so and putting a notch at the center at the back. Put a notch at the middle point of the neck circumference. Now, we will now take our collar, which we have already prepared, and make sure the portion that has a match it together with. Make sure that the portion that has interfacing its face is at the back. Then put together the notch edges of the collar and the neck circumference and pin them together. Make sure you are using one side of the collar stand. Pin it round the neck circumference. Open the collar stand and pin the back of it onto the neck circumference like so. Only one side of the collar stand, the other side will be left open like so. You can see that my collar is fitting perfectly to my neck circumference because I use the right measurement. Now the next thing is to stitch down this back part of the collar stand onto the neck circumference. You stitch it down. Now, after stitching it down, this is what we have. After stitching that, that's what we have. Now, the next thing is to stitch the other side of this is the back of the collar anyway. This is the back, by the way. This is what we have after stitching it, the back down. Now, the front of the collar stand, we are going to turn it in by 0.5 inches and place it on top of the stitch we made at the back to cover it, and we also stitch it down. You will turn it inside, tuck it in by 0.5 inches and place it on top of the stitch we made at the back and stitch it down. Use your office pin to pin them down correctly in order for you to have an easy job of stitching it down. You will stitch it down at your sewing machine. This is me using my office pin. Make sure the notch the notch that you made is on top of the notch at the center of the neck circumference before you now pin down the other side of the collar onto the neck circumference like so. Your office pin can really help you to have and to get accurate job done easily. This is Good Things Fashion Tutorial. Please always like this video and subscribe if you have not yet subscribed. Now we are going to go to our sewing machine and stitch down the front of the collar. Now after stitching it down, this is what we have. This is the front of the collar. We have finished attaching the collar to the neck circumference. This is the back of the collar, and this is all we need to do. Please like, share and subscribe to this channel. Like this video, share it and subscribe. Make sure you put on your notification bell in order for you to be notified the next time I post another video. If you have any question, please drop it in the comment section and I'll be there to attend to it. Remember to hem the bottom part of the shirt. I'm going to make a video on how to put a buttonhole and button onto the shirt. After this, you watch out for that video. Remember to hem the shirt. Just hem it round. You can see the finished work, the finished shirt, how neat and beautiful it is. If you follow this video, you will be able to make something like this. Remember to give your shirt a good press with a hot iron. Thank you very much for watching. God bless you.